All right. Good afternoon. How are you? My name is Joan Burvoy, the chairperson of OSARC. I'd like to introduce to you Susan O'Brien, secretary, uh, Colleen Cox, consultant to the board, Judith Lovell, Dr. Judith Lovell, a volunteer to the board, Mark Lewis, acting co-chair, Jay Wachowski, Jay's Commonwealth rep, Rob Spencer, media director from OSA, and Megan Lifsey. Megan is assistant to Bob Krogan. So we just have to do a little switch in our agenda. Jay is going to give the Commonwealth report now. Jay has a I'm sorry, another engagement that he has to do. So Jay, if you could give the Commonwealth report.
Good morning, all. Y'all hang as long as I can. Comro, excuse me, this morning, two issues were discussed. There were three people on the meeting. Dean Weltman from OLR, Sang Hong, the Deputy Director of Operations for Employee Benefits at OLR, and Beth Kushner, also a Deputy Director of Administration at OLR. So two things we spoke about. First things first, deferred compensation. Now is the time, if you haven't taken your required minimum distribution from your 457, 401, 403B, IRA, you must do it now. Usually it's automatic. They'll send you a letter telling you how much you have to take. If you have any questions, contact me by email. I'll talk you through it. But you should take out that money because there's a penalty if you don't. The other plug, if you will, for OLR is the deferred compensation plan gives tons of courses online and in person about all the issues that affect us, including the healthcare issues with Medicare, retirement, the pattern you should draw your money out, not the pension. They don't deal with pension, but they deal with all that other stuff. Social Security, Medicare, like I said, I highly recommend their courses, and they do have certified financial planners who can talk to you. So give them a call. You're a member, give them a call. Number two, we talked about the health benefits plan. Almost all of us are covered by senior care, which covers your Part B and your drugs at this point. Everybody got a threatening letter from Emblem Health saying that as of January 1, we're going to get whacked with $15 copays every time you take a breath and go to the doctor. Some clarification. The letter from Emblem says you pay $15 copay per visit, right down the line, except for laboratory tests. Now, OLR gave us the verbal assurance that they have the verbal assurance that means if you go to the lab for a set of blood tests, you go to one lab, it's one $15 copay. In other words, it's one copay per provider per day. Now, there's a lot of juice to squeeze out of that onion. For instance, if I go to the cardiologist for my regular checkup, he sends me across the hall for an echocardiogram. I see him, I see the technician, and then another doctor who's a radiologist will look at the echo to see if my heart's still beating. Is that one copay, two copays, or three copays? It's the same day, the same floor, in the same hospital. I don't know. We asked them for a written clarification. That's all I can tell anybody. The other point is this $15 copay is the subject of the lawsuit going back, Rob, what is it, 2 years now or 3? I lose track.
Probably.
Yeah, where we had to pay the copay for a few weeks, and then the judge put a kibosh on it, put an injunction on it. The injunction was lifted after several appeals. That's why we got this screw you letter. There is another case or an extension of the case that is yet to be heard. So, what happened is the city screwed around with the contract terms with Emblem Health so they could get away with the copay. Again, it's going to be litigation again. That's all I can tell you. Stay tuned. There's a couple of people I see on the website, Rob and Bob Pfefferman, and a few other people who are really into this. Hopefully, we'll get more information later on. That's basically all we discussed. Again, to remind everybody, take your RMD, your required minimum distributions, so you don't get in trouble with IRS. And that's basically it.
All right.
Good luck to all. Happy Turkey to everybody.
Thank you. So there's just a couple of questions. I want to just do
Certainly.
this really quickly. At what age do we need to make deferred comp distributions?
If you're already getting it, you got to keep getting it. If you have not yet achieved the lovely golden age of 73, in other words, if you didn't turn 73 this year, you don't have to take it until the year you turn 73.
Okay.
These are not the plan's rules. These are the federal government IRS's rules. Because they had started out at 70 and a half and it got extended. But 73 is the magic number now. And if you want to know how much you have to take out, if you download the deferred comp withdrawal letter from OLR, from the deferred comp plan, and you look on the back, it's got the chart of how much you have to take out. So you take your December 31st balance. Let's say you're going to turn 73 next year. You will take your December 31st balance this coming December, and you look on the chart and you see for age 73, because I'm going to be 73 in 2025, you'd have to take out, you divide your balance by 26.5. It's not a percentage, it's a divisor. Everybody here's an analyst. You can divide one number by another. Now that's the minimum you have to take out. You can take out more if you want.
All right. So there are some questions in the chat.
Go for it.
Pfefferman has his hand up, and I apologize, but we really do need to move on to the presenter. So one thing though was if you could put the website of the I'm just looking here. Someone said, please repeat the website for information on deferred comp. If you could just put that into the chat. I really apologize to everyone, but we really must get going with the presentation. See what you can address, Jay, in the chat. All right.
Will do.
Thank you. Judith is going to introduce our presenter.
Good afternoon, everyone. We all know that today's healthcare system needs reform to address issues like improving access, reducing costs, enhancing quality, and promoting health equity. Changes might involve expanding insurance coverage, lowering prescription drug costs, eliminating co-pays, increasing funding to public health initiatives, and reducing administrative overhead. Effective reform can create a more sustainable, fair, and patient-oriented system. As Bernie Sanders says, healthcare in the United States must be recognized as a right, not a privilege. Every man, woman, and child in our country should be able to get good health care regardless of their income. While we continue to fight for healthcare reform to create a more sustainable system that promotes health for all of our citizens, we want to take some time to look at other alternatives. Alternative medicines include many practices that fall outside of conventional Western medical treatment. These treatments are often used with traditional therapies, and they include acupuncture, chiropractic care, herbal medicine, homeopathy, Ayurvedic medicine, traditional Chinese herbs, energy healing, Reiki, massage therapy, sound healing and music therapy, aromatherapy, and colon irrigation. Of course, it is essential to consult your physician, your PCP, before beginning any alternative treatment. However, we also believe having good information and effective options is necessary in today's complex and profit-driven world. Therefore, our special guest today is Grace Leung, a licensed acupuncturist and board-certified herbalist. She is the owner and operator of Cobble Hill Acupuncture in Brooklyn. She has years of experience, and she will discuss with us how to support our wellness journey with acupuncture and other methods. She will then open the room up for questions and answers. So with no further ado, Grace Leung.
Thank you very much, Judith. Hi, everyone. So let me start saying that I'm a true believer of acupuncture and herbs because I got a lot of healing through that process when I was not feeling well back in my 20s when I went to college, and the food wasn't what I was accustomed to, and I was developing a whole lot of digestive issues like IBS was diagnosed, and muscle allergies after that, and it was just like went downhill with my health until one day I discovered acupuncture, having an injury to my knee, and it was a lot of pain and felt like something broken. At that time, I had no health insurance. In my 30s, I never had health insurance up till like almost towards my 40 years old. I never need to see doctor because back then we just don't see doctors. In my family, we use herbs and things for treatment. Or my mother always take care of those small issues that we were having. So for broken, like my knee was feeling severe pain, but I went to see an herbal acupuncturist who was introduced to me by a family member. And after I saw him like 2 visits, my knee was kind of completely healed, like it never felt it was a problem after that. So I found that very magical. And at that time, I was doing some business um, before I found acupuncture school. So after that, I went to school straight for 4 years, and after that, I became an acupuncturist. So it's a second career for me. So let me start talking about acupuncture. So I don't know how many of you had acupuncture before, So what acupuncture is a branch of Chinese medicine founded over 3,000 years ago. In this medical system, we utilize herbs, cupping, body work, dietary recommendations, and exercises like Tai Chi and Qigong. Those exercise usually for health, and you can see them out in the park. A lot of the Asian communities, people doing all these. It looks very simple. It looks very casual, and like, what are they doing? You would not recognize how powerful and how useful your body feels until you try it out yourself. It's not as easy as it looks because you really work through all your joints and all your body parts, and very holistically, systematically, it affects your body, the internal cultivating the internal energy and things like that. So I would also recommend you guys to try that as well as part of your wellness treatment, wellness maintenance for good health. So,
wireless color.
sorry. So acupuncture, right? You're using fine needles insert to the body surface.
Grace, to tell us when you want to put up the slides. Do you want them up yet?
Oh, okay. You can start the second slide. I'm actually going to do the second.
Right, that's what I was afraid of. Megan, can you put up the slides? Next slide, I think.
Rob, is it changing or no?
Yeah, it's not changing right now. No, it was changing before when you did it, but now you just lost it.
Give me 1 second. Let me try opening this up again. It's not letting me switch sides.
Why?
I'm checking right now. Let's do this right now. Slideshow. Beginning. Hold on. Okay, and now it is. Give me 2 seconds. Slideshow.
You're not sharing the screen at the moment. Maybe now you are. Okay, got the first slide.
Second slide or not yet?
No.
Hold on. Let me see if it did. Why is this not? Give me 1 second. Slideshow. How about now, Rob?
It's not up now. You got the
Okay.
what you yeah, but you're not showing full screen. You're showing the actual.
Now?
No, you're seeing the slide, but you're not on the slideshow. You're seeing the whole program screen.
Hold on, let me click resume slideshow. Is it letting you see it now?
You're still seeing the actual program.
Hold on. Now?
Same thing. Yep, now it's all right. Go back for a second. Yeah, leave it there. Yep, you're good. Grace, you good there, or you want to pass that? Hello?
Hello.
Yes. Hi. Is
Sorry,
that
yeah,
the
okay.
slide you want? Or
Yes, I am. Sorry.
okay.
There's nothing in the needle, but it's just a guiding tool to tap into the needle, to the body's energy, which is called the qi. And there are over 362 points found in the 12 meridian of the body. And each point has this unique functions and locations. So next slide. So how does it work? When the points are inserted, the neurotransmitters will be activated to help the body to alleviate pain, reduce swelling, relax, and de-stress the body, and also improve the blood circulation and blood flow, and also calms the body from overreacting. So that's why when you go into acupuncture, the results are you feel a difference in the way you feel before you come in. You feel more relaxed, or you feel more energy, or the next day or the night before you sleep much better. So that's the subtlety of acupuncture. Or you come to get pain relief, then the pain will eventually feel more subsided. So who can benefit acupuncture? Anyone can benefit from acupuncture, children to adults, infants to seniors. But some insurance do have acupuncture benefits. It varies from one to the other. So currently, Medicare approved 12 visits for chronic pain when other treatments failed. So you can check with medical care or your insurance and see which providers might accept the insurance and get more details before you get acupuncture. So WHO organization has recognized the following conditions to help by acupuncture. So they are low back pain, neck pain, tennis elbow, knee pain. You're gonna see the list on the next slide. Like TMJ, headaches, rheumatoid arthritis, morning sickness for pregnancy women. Even after stroke is very helpful, especially in the beginning of a stroke. If someone has a stroke, it's very advisable to come in to seek help as soon as possible to kind of revive and activate, continue the circulation so it would not freeze and get stuck the energy. So that helps a lot. And other things like hay fever, allergies, stomach issues. So actually, like my clinic, I'm seeing almost any kind of ailments, and it's worth trying using acupuncture because it what the acupuncture does is it's just rebalance the body and promote the circulation. Is kind of harmonize things back to normal. So next slide. So you could go through the list of this. So acupuncture is a unique medical system that uses the natural body to heal itself. The needles are guiding tool, like I said, to regulate the body's imbalances that causing obstructions to the meridian. Like for example, the streets in the city, when there's a disabled car, it usually backs up the rest of the traffic and it jams to various streets if it's a bad accident or something. So the body does the same way. All these meridians should be free flow and energetically free flow, and the blood is free. So anything that's jams in the meridians, you're gonna feel pain, and then it's causing uh, disharmony in the body. That's why you're gonna sense problems in the body. So what we do, acupuncture is like a body mechanic. It helps tune up the body, like the oil, like the car needs oil change and changing parts. For acupuncture, it just helps you regulate the body. So next slide, how do we view sickness and diseases according to TCM, which is traditional Chinese medicine? Uh, so usually it's environmental factors related, like season change, our body is gonna be affected. So that's why in the winter time you get colds and things like that. In the summertime, you get more like a heat stroke and the fall season or spring season, you get allergies. Those are all like seasonal changes and it's affected by environmental factors. So internal factors like imbalances of the five organs, which we're going to talk about, the five organs like the heart, the stomach, the lungs, and the liver and the kidneys, and those internal organs will be in balance. And then the meridians, like if you have like a trauma in your arm, so the meridian is going to be obstructed of the flow of blood. Let's say the you get swelling, so the meridians are obstructed, and that's also causing the problems. So other factors are emotional factors, like how you're feeling. If you feel angry, you feel stress, those also is going to impact your health, and if you don't address those emotional factors, it can also transfer into illnesses or long-term illnesses and causing sleep problems or digestive problems, things like that, or headaches. Lots of tension. So those are how we look at diseases according to TCM. So, for example, next slide. We are looking at the yin and yang symbol in Chinese medicine is very important concept that we constantly use to check and balance. So yin and yang symbol is called the Chai Qi, represents the balance between two opposing forces that are complementary and interdependent. So the circle divided into two halves by curved lines, with one half black and the other one white. A dot of each color of the center of the other half. So looking at the symbol, you need each other. It's a very balanced symbol. Not one half is bigger than the other. And let's say the white part, which is the yang part, it also has a black dot in there. So yin and yang kind of has to coexist. You don't have one without the other, and it's like really mutually consume each other. And so looking at that, and we always use that and go back to this symbol to look and compare different things in the universe and in our body. So for male, there's a female, right? And there's a there's a left side and there's a right side. So looking at using the yin and yang symbol, female is the yin and male is the yang. So why is that? Normally, men is supposed to be very like active and robust, and women supposed to be more yin and soft and supposedly not as energetic or as strong. So, and the left hand is supposed to be more yin than the right hand is more yang. And looking at the body, the top of the head is more yang than the bottom of the feet is more yin. So this is how we look at yin and yang symbol. And next slide. Or maybe let me elaborate a little bit more on yin and yang. So I think the universe is not so balanced right now, especially with the yin and yang. Supposedly, the yin and yang supposedly is supposed to balance each other. But when there's too much yang, then the yin becomes a little smaller, or too much yang, the yin becomes smaller, and it creates problems in many ways. So you're looking at the temperature. Cold is considered yin, and hot is considered yang. And season-wise, winter is yin, and the summer is yang. Why is that? Winter is more cold, so we categorize as a yin energy. So we need more yang energy to balance that one in the winter time, right? So when you're eating, you wanted to eat like more seasonal food that would support the yin time, the winter time. You like winter time, you're not supposed to eat that much ice cream, for example. Then you're gonna traumatize your health a bit by consuming more yin food. So in the winter time, what is good young energy to what's young food to eat or consume. You should be eating maybe more meat, more warm food, more yin food, more cooked food versus like cold salads and or ice cream. That would be counter-indicated for the winter seasons. And so we tend to use that a lot to help us to keep our body balanced. All right, so next slide. So TCM also using a system of the 5 elements, the way of nature. The 5 elements on this earth is the wood, the fire, the earth, the metal, and the water. So these elements need to be balanced and harmonious to each other to be peaceful. So the planet is peaceful, and then we can live more peacefully, right? So any one of these elements out of balance is going to affect the other elements. So we using the same map, apply that to our body. Yeah. So let's say looking at the wood. Wood is the liver element, and the fire is the heart element of the body, right? And the kidney is the water is the kidney. The metal is the lungs. So we in TCM use a lot of using this and make sure these elements in the body needs to be balanced. Whenever any of these elements are out of balance, it's going to affect the other elements. So for example, when this is generating, as you can see, the wood generate to the liver, the wood to the fire to the metal, and metal to the water, and it goes in circular motion. So when anything is reverse energy, let's say the wood backs up to the kidney, and then there will be problems, diseases arises from that. In that pump. So basically also looking at, like, let's say it's kidney is the mother of wood. The water is the mother of the wood. So it's supposed to support the wood to growth. So so the kidney energy supposed to really feed the wood in the body, which is the liver. So when the kidneys are strong, you're gonna get a stronger liver, which is the blood in Western medicine. Um, so just give you an example how this work. I mean, it can go into much deeper details, but I'm just giving you some example how we look at the diseases and how we need to harmonize the body to be more balanced and well, and no diseases arise from that. You guys, okay? I think that's all I have today. Any?
Okay, so if there's any questions, please use the raise hand function, or and we'll call on you. Or if there's or if you're not comfortable doing that, please put your question in the chat. Okay. Bob Hefferman.
Yes, good afternoon. Grace just went through 20, let me put it another way. It would be hard to find a bigger fan of acupuncture than I am. I come through it through Ayurveda, which is traditional Indian medicine. And from Grace's presentation, the overlaps, the similarities at this point are more obvious than the differences, but Grace can go into that if she wants to. The point is that acupuncture works, and however you get there, get there. Where am I here? I'm very critical of a traditional Western medicine training because they don't go into these alternative medicines like traditional Chinese medicine or Ayurveda. Although I think we all probably have realized that doctors, medical people coming out of the schools now are a little more sensitive to emotional factors, stress, high blood pressure, stuff like that. And here I have a question, and it's a little bit of, anyway, yin yang gender stereotyping. I don't get it. Um, um, I don't believe that women are any more whatever than whatever you said. And I'm reminded of the score of Annie Get Your Gun, if anybody remembers this, where there's a song between the two people involved. Anything you can do, I can do better. And they go back and forth with this. So thank you. That's what I have to say.
Grace?
Okay. Yeah, that's a good argument with that, right? Nothing wrong with it, but it's just really changing. As you can see, women are much more stronger. We developed different paradigm of that shift. Nothing wrong with it. So then if yang is the yin is getting stronger, the yin is getting a little weaker, as you can. Well, I don't know if you sense that, especially in America. It's nothing wrong. It's just we have to adapt to that shift. The yin and yang is constantly rotating. As long as like between the couple, if the two yang energies two rise, they butt heads so much, then they won't get along, and that.
Oh, you lost Grace. Oh, there you are, Grace.
Uh, so I mean, it's just we just have to adapt to this shift. This yin and yang is transforming. We just have to adapt. That's all. In order to live harmoniously. That's why the yin becomes more yang. Then the yang has to be more yin, as you can see. Some of the couples are switching role in that, like the husband is staying at home and women are working out in the workforce. That's one example of the changes that's happening, and I think we just have to um, adapt to that and get used to that idea.
Thank you. Judith?
I know they say that even in our body, though you might identify as a female or male, we have yin and yang energy. And I have two questions. So is it true that, for example, if you are, I think it's the left side is yin, right side is yang. So if you are like hurting the left side all the time, you may think about how to strengthen that yin energy, because that is becoming weak within you. And it could even be the emotional attachment to maybe not liking your feminine energy, whatever. That's one question. Then the other question is, I wish you would go more into the TCM with the wood and the fire. When you have sour liver, bitter heart, are these foods that we're supposed to eat? I was a little confused with that.
Oh,
So
that's
I have two questions. So one is the sides of the body and weaknesses and strengths, and then the TCM.
the body definitely have the yin side and the yang side in all of us, and depending on each individual, usually we female is supposed to be the right side, so our right side should be stronger than our left, and so you can look sometimes it's the opposite. So supposedly the men is the left hand side, so their left side should be stronger. And but you looking at our body, we have a yin and yang face. We all do. Like one side is definitely different and more tone, and the other side is like weaker. So we could try to strengthen both sides or keep them as equal as possible. But, to be at a more balance in that sense. Uh, the question about the those are the different tastes. The sour to the liver, and the hot to the bitter taste, and the lung to the spicy, and the kidney to the salty food. So in terms of like, you can also using that as the taste of to help your body too, knowing, okay, I have too much fire, so consume something more salty food to kind of support anger the fire by having a little bit more salty food or more water in your life to balance that, the hot fire, like hot temperamental red face, or you like spicy food and you hot all the time, then you want something cooling, but not too extreme that you're gonna extinguish that fire. That's not good either. You always have to look at, make sure it's balanced enough and that you're not creating more imbalances in that area.
Thank you.
You are
Susan?
Hi, thank you. Very great information so far. So the first is a comment and then a question. So my comment is that when I was early 50, 51, and I started going through menopause, I went to acupuncture, and it was fantastic. It really helped handle many of my symptoms. But I actually went to an MD who was submitting to insurances for acupuncture until she got, like, I don't know, she was charged with something, fraud or whatever, because the insurance was not going to pay for acupuncture, but she was sort of trying to force the issue. And many of us were lucky enough to be recipients of acupuncture that was actually covered by our insurance. So that's sad that cannot currently happen, other than in these very specific situations with Medicare. The other question I had was, I wonder if you could go in a little bit more into some of the other points that Judith, I mean, I know you're also an herbalist, right? So are there connections between acupuncture and herbs, or are there ways that you meld these two parts of your expertise together, or, anything you want to share about that?
In my practice, yes. My training is traditional Chinese medicine, and traditional Chinese medicine has these acupuncture and herbal uh, 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 training together. And some people, just because it's like so much work, and so people just chose one over the other, but definitely work hand in hand, because the philosophy behind the TCM, traditional medicine, is very important. knowledge that you need to formulate in order to diagnose and properly treat the body as holistically and to yield better results. So a lot of, let's say, certified acupuncturists, which is mostly MD, decided to like get certified and get 300 hours of coursework, and they start doing acupuncture. But then they are still using Western ideas to treat the problem. I have elbow pain, and I'm going to just put a needle there. Is not as effective as more like a holistic approach. What is wrong with the person? What's out of balance? That's why we're looking at the yin and yang and five elements. What's out of balance in that person's body that is creating this problem? Besides having elbow pain, what other symptoms they're manifesting? And we try to tie it into a pattern. Is it that's why we are like, is the person having some spleen deficiency, or liver stagnation, or is a blood problem? So we had to first diagnose what the problem is before we even treat. If we treat, we want to make sure those imbalances are being supported, as well as treating the chief complaint you're coming for, like, oh, I'm having a headache. But for a TCM practitioner, we always want to know where the root cause is coming from, not just treating the headache. Where could it be, like you just had a emotional burst with somebody, and then you get this massive headache. If you don't treat what the root is, you're not going to get the effective treatment.
Okay. Thank you. Ralph had his hand up before you did, Oscar, so I'll call on you afterwards. Ralph Martinez.
Hi, a couple of simple questions. Are you taking new patients?
Yes, I am.
And where are you located?
I'm in Brooklyn, by Cobble Hill, on Atlantic Avenue between Clinton and Henry, if you know where Brooklyn is. I've been in this location about 14 years now.
Okay, and one other question. Is acupressure part of traditional Chinese medicine?
Yes, it's still part of the acupuncture system. It's just not using the needles.
Do you offer that service?
I have good body workers here that they use some acupressure. So, but I don't. Sometimes I do. I don't, because I use acupuncture needles already, so I don't need to. But if I don't have my needles with me, I do use acupressure to help people to get their acute situation situated. Using acupressure is very powerful as well.
Thank you.
So Grace, could you put in the chat your contact information?
Oh yeah, oh, sure, thank you.
Sure. I do think that Ralph or anyone else, that if you just Google Grace's name, it's on there, that you will get to her. Grace Leung, acupuncturist. You'll get to her, but she'll put her information in. Oscar.
Hello, yes. I'm very excited with the presentation because I'm remembering about 35 years ago, I was as a social worker at Lincoln Hospital in the Bronx, the South Bronx. They had a unit, a substance use unit, by Dr. Michael Smith. And I believe, I'm not mistaken, I want to say the wrong thing, but I believe he really started acupuncture treatment in New York or in the city to be used for substance abuse clients. And I remember I was fascinated because he allowed me to come there, and I was trained with 5 points on the ear, the lung, the kidney, and the chest, plus others. I don't remember everything. And But the real proof of the pudding was when I was allowed to do the treatment. When I inserted the points, one client took a deep breath, and I remember asking him what happened, and he's like, he gave me textbook information. He felt a release, a cleansing, and that's what they explained to me, that you put the point helps the client to relax, and it releases toxins from these various organs, and so it was an adjunct to the counsel. It didn't take the place of substance abuse counseling, but they would sit in the room for about 40 minutes afterwards with the pins in to relax. So that was an introduction to me for acupuncture treatment and to experience the validity for it. And I think Lincoln Hospital didn't get as people from around the country were coming, but it didn't seem to get as much notoriety. But I remember I was very excited and very pleased to have that experience.
Yes, I actually did that program too. I was in the Lincoln Recovery Center and did the detox program there for like a whole week long when I was a student. So it's definitely a very amazing program that they found by Michael Smith, and it was well recognized now. A lot of countries and clinics are utilizing that for the detox program for the drug addictions.
Oh, interesting. Oscar, is Lincoln Hospital still doing that? Do you know?
Well, I live in Georgia now, but I believe I think I would think so, but I can't say for certain because, as she said, it has renown around the world and whatnot. It's and a lot of other substance abuse programs began to send people to be trained by Lincoln, and they've been doing it in
So maybe
not only New
Lincoln,
York but other states. That's what I'm saying. People were traveling. That's what got me fascinated.
Yeah.
yeah,
Sorry.
Michael Smith passed away already, so
Yes.
that program might not be running there anymore. But I think other parts of the world is still using that program, that protocol that was founded by him.
Interesting. Okay. I'm going to take a couple of questions from the chat. Lily Davila wants to know, do we need a referral from a primary doctor for acupuncture?
No, as long as you have the acupuncture benefits, you can just come and get treated.
Okay.
And make sure the provider is in network with that plan, or they accept your insurance, then you're good to go.
Okay. All right. So very straightforward. And Megan likes to know, does acupuncture help reduce allergies?
Definitely very useful for because acupuncture can boost your immunity, and so acupuncture is very beneficial for allergies. Especially try to go before the season begin and get a few sessions in, and that will reduce your symptoms.
Oh, okay. So that is really specific to things like environmental allergies. It is okay. Anything with food allergies or no? That's a separate issue.
Food allergies, you still can treat it because that would be your stomach, your digestion is out of balance. So we have to look into your dietary and things like that. So food allergy is still a type of reaction, like your body is not accepting something that you're eating, and could be because of a weakness of your digestive system.
Okay. You know, Bob, I just want to say it's, I don't know if there's a coincidence, but Oscar's voice kept, at some points coming and going. So was Grace. I don't know if that's I don't know if that's just the particular, connection we have, or if that's just individual where people are located. I just wanted to bring that up. Okay. Colleen, Susan, I'm gonna call on Colleen. Colleen, unmute yourself. Unmute yourself, Colleen. Grace, how are you for time?
Let me see. My next appointment Oh yeah, I still have up to about 2 o'clock. I could answer more
No,
questions.
we won't be going that long. Colleen, you have to unmute yourself.
1:45. Yeah.
No, you're not unmuted, Colleen. Yeah. All right. Colleen, you're still not unmuted. Maybe put your question in the chat. I'm going to call on Susan. Susan?
One of my questions, so you're talking a lot about, the kidneys, the liver, the spleen. So what about musculoskeletal issues? That, you twisted your knee, your back goes out, your shoulder hurts you. Is this something that acupuncture has any connection to?
Yes, that would be, if it's not organ problems, then it would be the meridians that I'm talking about, obstructions in the logo area, logo joints. But if it's a low back issue, can be from a digestive issue or from the kidney being deficient. The kidney is associated with the bones and associated with the low back. And on knee. So if there's more symptomatic problems, and we can tie it into a specific pattern or a specific organ, and that's we're looking at the progression of the diseases, the level of diseases. That's like, is it something very, very straightforward? You injure your elbow, then it's localized, right? But if there's more symptoms you are experiencing, then we'll look into the 5 elements, the organ system, to see what is going on there.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Colleen, can you try unmuting yourself again? Trying to read your lips. Yeah, Colleen, we're not hearing you. All right.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we
No?
can hear you now.
Okay, great. I just wanted to say congratulations. Excellent presentation. My family and I strongly believe in acupuncture. And as you know, Mom lived to be 107. So when we would go to the doctors and they would ask, what do you do? What's going on with you? And she would just smile and said, I do vitamins and acupuncture. So, kudos, and you'll be hearing from me, Grace, because I need a local person now.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Any more questions? Oh, Bob, unmute yourself.
Yes, I'm kind of sorry to say this, but when I had experience with acupuncture 25 years ago, pre-Medicare, in order for city health insurance to cover it, it had to have a referral from an MD or be performed by an MD. So I don't know what Medicare requires. I just wanted to say that a little differently that Grace said it. And since I'm here, I want to say I love the stuff about diet. I think it's very important. It's similar to Ayurveda. So when the Chinese and the Indians aren't fighting each other somewhere way up in the Himalayas, they can exchange how to make everybody more healthy. Thank you.
Okay, Annette Moore.
I just want to know, is there I might have missed this question, but is there some kind of directory nationwide of practitioners is there an organization that you guys belong to or have to be accredited by that would put out such a directory?
There is the acupuncture board, you can look up, and also the NCCAOM, the
NCCAO.
National Acupuncture. I can the full name. I don't. The NCCAOM. You type that up, and there will be more information on our credentialing needs, requirements to be a acupuncturist or board certified herbalist.
Okay, thank you.
Oh, thank you. All right, and I'm sorry, you said, I mean, in terms of like, obviously most of us have almost all of us have Medicare and we have something called GHI senior care. I guess we would just have to go through, find out who participating acupuncturists, in essence. Grace. Just a comment. We'd have to find out who participates in our insurance.
Yeah, they have the insurance directory. Some acupuncturists, belong to certain insurance. Right now, most major meds do cover, like United, Aetna, and Blue Cross Blue Shield. In the past, like Cigna, and they were all good at some point until acupuncture. I mean, COVID. And now everything is in a big mess again. They reduce the treatment sessions and they reduce the rate to pay to acupuncturists. So it becomes pretty difficult to work with insurance at the current times. Even though Medicare says you have 12 acupuncture sessions through Medicare, it's still very hard for us to tap into that benefit because most of us don't even know how to get into the network of Medicare system. There's no applications for us to apply. So who picks up these clients? Most likely is the MDs, the certified MDs. That's the one that we are having issues like 1199. Only certified medical doctors can administer the acupuncture to those clients. So we, as a licensed acupuncturist, cannot even see those clients that has those kind of benefits. So
interesting. Okay. There's one more question in the chat from Peter Lobello. Can acupuncture help relieve pain associated with arthritis in the cervical spine and lower back?
It's worth a try.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. I think that's that is all the questions that we have. Grace, thank you so much for a very interesting and enlightening presentation. Oh, I'm sorry, Judith, you have your hand up. Oh, you were clapping. I'm sorry. Oh, that's so cute that you did that. I mean, thank you, Grace, and Judith, thank you very much. Thank you for introducing us to Grace and for introducing us to Grace.
Thanks for having me here. And if anyone has questions, feel free to email me or call me. Anything.
Thank you very much. It was wonderful.
Thank you very much, Grace.
Wonderful.
Take care.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Okay. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at the agenda. All right. Before I talk about health insurance, last meeting, Susan made a ask that retirees email me with any topics of interest for future meetings, for any people that you might know who would be interested in presenting. And, very candidly, we haven't received any feedback. So what we'd like to do is just like take a minute or two. I don't have any TikTok music. But if you could put in the chat topics that you're interested in, and also just quick, think about, presenters that you that maybe So for example, and Susan had mentioned this, Judith's son presented. He's in business for himself. And he was the gentleman who did about smartphones. And in those situations, you know, where it's like, I feel like we're better word, like small business people, we compensate them for this. You know, we are not, we don't compensate, you know, if it's, we've had lawyers, financial planners, things like that, we don't compensate them. But we do for people who are again, like Judith's son, or we've had a nutritionist, or even Grace, you know, people who are in small businesses by themselves and could always use, you know, assistance. Judith also, you know, we had a lawyer speak about wills and trusts. That was someone Judith is working with. Someone that, you know, we had a nutritionist that I had just, I worked in health and hospital, and I just had worked with nutritionists, so I reached out and we found a nutritionist. You know, sadly, she's not available anymore. Susan just kind of put her thinking cap on, and I mean, we have a guest speaker coming in February from Stony Brook who's going to talk about cancer. And it's not that she knew anyone. She just kind of Googled, looked around. So we really, really need your help. We are, it's mainly just Judith, Susan, Colleen, and myself, and it's and we really, really just need some support here as to you know, people that you know that you're working with. You know, we'll do the legwork. I mean, if you can just identify, like, reach out to them and see if they're interested, and if they're interested, you know, we will, you know, we'll then, you know, reach out to them with the details. So I really just would appreciate it, and we're gonna have like a moment of silence here before I go into health insurance. And if you could, you know, put some of your thoughts in the chat, we'd appreciate it. And Eileen, I see that your hand's up. Unmute yourself.
Yes. I thought you were going to have somebody speaking on memory today.
Not. No, I'm sorry. Yes. Yes. And she, unfortunately, she was
Forgot about the
having
meeting.
her own medical issues, so she wasn't able to attend. So thank goodness we were able to, you know, Judith was helped us pivot and introduce us to Grace. So, and that, you know, that individual was from a community center, a community center in my neighborhood of Bayside, Little Neck, called Common Point, Queens, and this woman runs an early stage memory loss program. I'm not, my impression is that she's not going to follow through with a presentation. But that's just an example of that, you know, maybe again, you each have community centers in you where you live. And this doesn't have to be local. This can be, you know, the beauty of Zoom is that these could be people, you know, for those of you in Florida or other places, if there are you know, people that you're working with, or you have community centers, etc. You know, reach out to them. You know, that's the beauty of Zoom. Susan?
I just want to say one other quick thing, and that is, especially if somebody is a small practitioner, a small business owner, it's also a way to drum up business. I mean, that's not our main goal, but I have used attorneys that I found through this group because I got a chance to listen to them and what they had to say, what they had to offer. And people are already asking how to get in touch with today's presenter. So it can be helpful also to their business. So just another plug.
Right, just the way, you know, several of you asked for Grace's information. You know, that, you know, it benefits you, it benefits her. All right, so hopefully there, we'll check the chat later, and I hope that you have some ideas. If you do need some more time, again, my email is joan.buravoy@gmail.com. Just, you know, please, you know, think about it. You know, I am I am sure that you know people, that you all, that you know of people. Or even if you don't know of people, just that there might be, again, organizations or things that you've tapped into that we just, that we haven't thought about, and just tell us, look into such and such an organization. All right. So health insurance update is councilperson Marte, and actually Marte introduced legislation, basically not to touch retirees' health insurance. How that legislation plays out with his colleagues is quite uncertain. Neither the council speaker nor the chair of the Civil Services and Labor Committee, Councilmember Carmen De La Rosa, were supportive of Charles Barron's bill. That one got no traction, and it was also derailed by union opposition. Charles Barron is no longer with the city council. Councilman Marte would need the solid backing of at least 34 council members to survive a mayoral veto. Just 5 of Marte's colleagues, all of them to the right of the majority of council members, have so far signed on as co-sponsors of the bill. As a comment to that, Henry Nespoli, head of the Municipal Labor Committee, argues that this bill that was introduced would prohibit what's called wholesale changes to the retired workers' health plans, and it would undermine city public sector unions' rights and responsibilities. Nespoli's letter contends that retirees' health insurance, health benefits are a mandatory subject of bargaining. Unions and their government employers have the statutory duty to negotiate the scope of benefits received when employees retire. The retirees, though, contend that their former unions don't represent them since they are no longer city employees. They argue that the state's Public Employees Fair Employment Act, known as the Taylor Law, forbids unions from acting or bargaining on behalf of retirees. So that is the latest update that I am aware of. Jay mentioned about the fact that we all should have gotten, I know I did, a letter about the copays beginning again in January. Does anyone, Bob, do you have anything to add with this? You're on.
Yes. I guess, well, I just want to comment on something Jay said when he talked about one copay. I'm going to put it a little differently. You go to the doctor sends you down the hall to get an x-ray, to get blood drawn, one copay. I don't know what's going to happen if the doctor sends you for radiology and you have to go to another physical locality. Don't know about that. The law, Rob Spencer may know more about this than I do, because I'm getting confused with all these court cases. With the copay, I think there's like 3 pieces of action here. We did not get the temporary restraining order, put it another way, the temporary restraining order that Judge Frank issued X number of months ago was vacated, apparently because the city and GHI Tweedledee and Tweedledum renegotiated the contract, so it now includes the $15 copay. We didn't get the TRO, but the lawsuit continues on the substance of whether they can impose a copay on us. and Mary Ann's group has appealed the denial of the TRO. The third piece of action that I'm aware of is apparently there was a state court ruling that allows us to sue in federal court, which gives us the right for damages if we win. And if we lose, we can go back to state court to sue, but we can't get damages in that case. And I think there's something else going on with this, but the whole thing is so terribly confusing. I want to just comment on the larger picture. The city was in chaos before the election. And it's not quite sure what was going to happen with the Medicare Advantage plan since Michael Mulgrew has either withdrawn his support or says he's withdrawn his support and hasn't. We don't know what's going on with that, nor do we really have a handle on what's happening with the RFP for actives. And all of this has gotten worse since the election. Nobody knows what's really going to happen to Mayor Adams. I think if I'm Mayor Adams, I'm feeling pretty good about the chances that the charges against me will be dropped. So that's really what I have to say. It's less, well, period. It's chaotic. That's my comment.
Okay. Rob, I don't want to put you on the spot. Did you want to say anything, Ed, or?
Well, I mean, Bob is correct in what he outlined. The only other thing that's coming up that I don't remember if you mentioned this, but in a few days, there's going to be a state court of appeals hearing on the very first case when the alliance was involved in the proposal, and that case has to do with interpretations of 12-126. So there's a lot of moving parts here. Lots.
Yes and no. That hearing is November 19th. I'm glad you mentioned it. It's on the fundamental case if they can force us to go into Medicare Advantage. Mary Ann has a bus. I think it's filled. There was something else I wanted to say and I forgot. Anyway, yes, that's an important case, and I'm glad you mentioned it.
Okay. Susan?
This is not on any of the excellent information Bob just gave us. So if anybody wants to speak to that first, you can. It's on healthcare, but a different issue.
No, go ahead, Susan.
No takers. Okay.
Okay.
Like I think a lot of other people, I received a letter about Anthem. And I'm asking this because I don't understand it fully, and I'm wondering if anybody else does. You can speak to it. I received a letter from Memorial Sloan Kettering, where I've had treatment, telling me that the Anthem coverage, which for us in GHI senior care, I believe is just for extra hospital days beyond what Medicare pays. So that part I'm a little confused about, and I can find nothing about it on the OLR website. So anyway, I got a letter from them saying that they were not able to, they're having trouble negotiating something with Anthem, and that they will no longer cover it as of January 2025. Then I got a letter, or they will no longer accept it. Then I got a letter from OLR saying that we can have coverage until March of 2025, and that people who are already in treatment would not be kicked off treatment. I don't know. It's all pretty confusing. Anybody understand this about Anthem?
Yes.
Okay, yay.
What's going on is something that periodically happens. In fact, it happened earlier this year between I think it was Memorial and no, it was Mount Sinai and I think Anthem. What happens is they have the providers and the insurers have contracts, and the contracts come up for renewal periodically, and often the hospital systems, in this case Memorial, which is very well recognized as providing very good cancer care, decided they want to, in their renegotiation with Anthem, to have certain rates that Anthem thinks are extortionate. And so Anthem doesn't want to pay them. And so they're into heavy duty, expedited negotiations, as they say. And Memorial decided that it was going to make use of its patient base and scare the crap out of them by writing to them. First, it happened at the end of the summer. I don't know if the letter you're talking about was actually that early or not, but it did come around September, end of August, September, and basically said, essentially, we may not be able to be in network as of January 1st. So we suggest you pressure your insurer, Anthem, to negotiate and give us what we want. So they're sticking their patients who are already struggling with a serious physical and emotional set of issues in relation to their cancer care into the middle of their contract negotiations. So immediately Anthem then contradicted that and said, we see this thing going on all the time. We're hopeful that we'll get a solution before the end of the contract period, which would be January the 1st. And that kind of thing has actually happened. I mean, there was I think 2 years ago or a year ago, there was a problem with Columbia Presbyterian and Emblem Health, and it ended up with a series of dueling ads in the daily news, and eventually it was resolved right before the deadline. The letters make clear that even if there is a problem, that the law requires 90 days beyond the expiration of the contract for these things to go into effect. Is it good? No, it's not good. It is my understanding on the Anthem thing with MSK that GHI senior care may not be affected, that it's primarily affecting GHI CBP, which covers the actives and the pre-Medicare retirees. Needless to say, as Susan was just saying, it's a bit chaotic and a little confusing. And everybody's sort of in the middle of this. There is a website, by the way, a page on the Anthem website that has the latest updates on this, and a page on the MSK website, which has the latest updates on this. So you can drive yourself nuts and go to both of these sites and you can read about it. I think that the basic position that OLR has taken is don't panic. Do they have a reason to say don't panic? I hope so, but I have not gotten special communications from the negotiating table to tell me whether we should worry or not. It is horrible. This is my personal opinion. To be in this situation is a perfect example of why we should not have a private insurance system in this country. But I'll shut up after that.
Can I jump in here with a couple of sentences on this? What we're seeing is a manifestation of the ancient struggle between the buyer and the seller, and the patients are caught in the middle. How much this will affect Medicare is not clear to me. Unless MSK or the special services that's pulling out of Medicare, I don't know that any current Medicare recipients will be affected. I don't know that. I don't think so, but I don't know it. That's my 2 cents.
If I could just respond, because based on the letter I received, it's about our Anthem coverage, which is hospital coverage. This is what I'm trying to get clear, right, Rob? It's hospital coverage, but
That that's in lieu of Blue Cross, right? In essence,
Right, it
Well,
used to
Blue-
be Blue Cross, now
Yes.
it's
Right.
called Anthem. They changed
Anthem.
their name, so that's why it's a little confusing. So
Right.
that's just an extended hospital benefit, if I'm correct. But like I said, I'm having trouble figuring out what it is. Anybody know?
Everybody's having trouble figuring out what it is. Join the party.
Okay. Thank you. If I figure it out, I'll let everybody know.
Okay, yeah. Go ahead, Oscar.
Okay, I'm sorry. I was listening to the conversation, but I don't want to make it too simplistic. Yes, a year or so ago when we got the letter about the anthem taking the place of Blue Cross Blue Shield, it's clearly like with Medicare for hospitalization. If you were hospitalized, the anthem is the secondary payment for hospitalization. Mostly everything we have really is just covered under Part B. As a matter of fact, even a lot of the hospitals, because I had surgery. My wife has had knee replacement surgery, and fortunately, it was covered under Part B, which saved a lot of money. You didn't have to pay the deductible for because it was the same day service the way they did it in Georgia. You went to the hospital that day and you left that day, so it was paid that way. But to answer the question without getting confused, Blue Cross Blue Shield was always the added benefit for the hospitalization, and they simply changed the name to Anthem. I don't make it simple. In my mind, that was the simplicity of understanding it basically. So I'll stop there. That was my basic understanding of it.
Thank you.
Okay, now I remember what this is all about. One of the meetings I was at, we had a presentation on this. And my recollection is it just is a change of vendor. The presentation that we got was there's no change in the benefit. It's just the contract is going to a different entity, a different corporate entity. Yes, that's what it is.
That's very helpful, thank you. But if it's a secondary payer and they no longer have a contract with MSK and maybe, who knows, others, then you're paying for this extra benefit, which isn't much, or the city's paying for this extra benefit, and it's not even useful, anyway.
Did you try calling the vendor, the new whoever the new corporate entity is, and
No, but
asking
I
them?
will. Good point.
Well, and maybe communicate with Joan what that is so she can put it out. I think we're all interested in that.
Okay, will do. Thanks, Bob.
Okay, thank you. Okay. December we'll be meeting about we will have Lloyd the lawyer. January we will have a presentation by the New York City Fire Department. February we will have a presentation by Stony Brook. Susan, what are they? Their cancer center?
I don't know the exact name off the top of my head. Let me see.
And that's okay.
Yeah,
but
some Stony Brook Cancer Center. I don't know. Honestly, I have to look.
No, that's fine. And I think they do outreach. And like I said, Susan just happened to have just in poking around the internet, found them, and they're going to speak to us. The emphasis will be on breast cancer and prostate cancer. I think, the two that affect men and women the most.
Prevention in general.
Intervention. And then we need more presenters, which again is why I, made the plea. Eileen, I'll reach out to you. I saw in the chat what you mentioned. And we are looking at having a meeting, a session in the office that probably wouldn't be till April, until the weather's nicer, so that people would be more comfortable traveling. when it's not cold. That is very, very, very much in preliminary discussions. So, we would have an update for you about that probably more like in February as to what that will look like. But we just felt that, that we should try it. We should try having something in-house. Obviously, it's very important to us to still have Zoom, because we have so many people who can participate from places far away, which has really been, lovely, to have that engagement. If there's any, I'm about to say if there's any questions, comments, Eileen, go ahead.
I just want to be clear. Were you asking me to contact the organizer?
Could you?
Oh yeah, I could do that, just so people know. I was a community organizer, so when I say organizer, I call it declutterer. And basically what he does is help you go through your stuff and where to put things. And he was also extremely helpful. I had a painting that needed to be repaired. I had some old books, stuff like that was really helpful. So I will contact him if he's interested. And there was something else you said that I have now forgotten what I wanted to.
Okay. Well, you have my email, right? You have my.
Yeah.
So actually, and when you contact this person, if they, are interested, then, give them my, loop me in, and then I can reach out with the, with the details. Thank you. If you remember later on, just the other thing you're going to bring up, item, just email me.
It was something you had said before, but I don't remember anymore.
And I don't remember what I said before. So
what was that about memory?
Memory. Any other questions, comments, concerns?
Yes.
Go ahead. Who said that?
What happened to the tax preparer we were going to have?
Oh, so he'll be there. He'll be there on next month, December.
Oh, I think you said Roy the lawyer. You didn't say that.
Oh, did I?
Misheard. I did. I think that's what you said, didn't you? I don't know.
Okay, I'm
No,
sorry.
she said Lloyd Feinberg.
Oh, I'm
Lloyd
sorry. That's my
Feinberg.
hearing. Goodbye.
No,
Never mind. I'm sorry.
I might have said
Goodbye.
the lawyer.
No, you're right. Goodbye. Thank you. I'm
no
sorry.
Problem, Barbara. No problem. Any other questions, comments?
Susan has her hand up.
Susan?
Well, I know you said that the person who would be interested in who could do the memory presentation that was supposed to happen today is not likely to be available further. But if that is something that other people are interested in, then maybe we should all kind of be on the lookout for somebody who could maybe do that. Because it sounded like something people were interested in. So, I mean, I don't know of anybody, but I can look around if that's something people are interested in, and other people should look or let us know if they have a contact.
Right. Again, this person, where I live, the organization is called Common Point Queens, and they have developed a large program on a very diversified program on many different issues. They have a specific senior center. Actually, a couple of years ago, a person who did exercise classes did a modified exercise class on balance with us a couple of years ago. So again, if you have that type of organization in your borough, or or again a senior center, or again in Georgia, or wherever else that you live, that someone would be interested in presenting about whether it be early stage memory loss, I know one of the things that many of us are concerned about is balance, fall. We'd love to get a nutritionist back, You know, like I said, I've lost that contact, but that seems to always be of interest. So anyway, all right, good to see everyone. Thank you very, very much for attending. Have a very happy Thanksgiving, and we will see you in December. And again, stay safe, stay well, and take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Have a good Thanksgiving.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Yes.